few things you need to know about your human rights. They are not gifts from the state. They are your everyday essentials. Our Focus on the FCT examines the 30 articles that outline your rights as a human being on this blue planet of ours. And we take a look at government's role in ensuring those rights are provided and protected. This is Dateline Abuja. Hello and welcome to Dateline Abuja. I'm Kayla Magwa. Let's begin with our Abuja wrap. President Tinubu directs ministers to obtain presidential clearance for escorts. The Senate approves the president's request for troop deployment to Benin Republic. He also welcomes the return of 100 students from the Catholic school in Niger State. It's time for Abuja wrap.
Vice President Kashim Shettima was in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire, to represent President Bola Tinubu at the inauguration of President Alassane Ouattara for a fourth term in office. He was received on arrival at the airport by Côte d'Ivoire's Prime Minister, Mr. Robert Mbambe, the Charge d'Affaires of the Nigerian Embassy in Côte d'Ivoire, Mrs. Item Akpama, and other senior government officials. President Bola Tinubu has commended the gallantry of Nigeria's military for responding swiftly to the request by the government of Benin Republic to save its 35-year-old democracy from coup plotters who struck at dawn today. Acting on two separate requests from the government of Benin, President Tinubu first ordered Nigerian Air Force fighter jets to enter the country and take over the airspace to help dislodge the coup plotters from the national TV and a military camp where they had regrouped. In the second request, the authorities in Benin requested the deployment of Nigerian Air Force assets within Beninese airspace for surveillance and rapid intervention operations under Benin-led coordination. According to the statement by the presidency, the Benin government also requested Nigerian ground forces strictly for missions approved by the Beninese Command Authority in support of the protection of constitutional institutions and the containment of armed groups. President Bola Tinubu has commended the security agencies for their tireless efforts in securing the freedom of the 100 students of Papiri Catholic School in Niger State. While expressing his joy over the safe return of the students, President Tinubu equally charged the security agencies to ensure the swift release of the remaining 115 students and their teachers who are still held hostage. Vice President Kashim Shettima says President Bola Tinubu remains steadfast in tackling security challenges in the country and is acting decisively to frontally address the concerns. According to him, the Tinubu administration is determined to support the security establishment in Nigeria and beyond to discharge their responsibilities to the nation. The Vice President stated this when the faculty and participants of the Executive Intelligence Management Course 18 of the National Institute for Security Studies visited him at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. Vice President Kashim Shettima has announced the new security and economic framework aimed at unlocking Nigeria's vast marine and aquatic resources under the blue economy. The Vice President made the announcement when he represented President Bola Tinubu at a meeting with participants of the Senior Executive Course 47 of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies at the State House, Abuja.
This administration has established the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy to reform port management systems, strengthen maritime security operations, and support private sector expansion in water transport and logistics. Still, acknowledging the vastness of this sector, we recognize that more work lies ahead. The insights provided by Sec 47 will guide us as we refine our strategies and deepen national coordination.
In a bid to eliminate the possibility of conflict in the livestock reform process in the country, President Bola Tinubu has tasked the Vice President, working with the National Executive Council, to look for villages or grazing reserves that can be salvaged or rehabilitated into ranches and livestock settlements. Speaking at the Federal Executive Council meeting in the State House, the President also emphasized his directive on the withdrawal of policemen from VIPs, insisting that his clearance must be sought for special security for ministers and senior officials who may feel exposed.
The Minister for Interior should liaise with IGP and the civil defense structure to replace those police officers who are on special security duties so that you don't leave people exposed.
Niger's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has described as sad and disheartening the recent spate of kidnapping of school children in the country. However, she said the federal government is working tirelessly to ensure a safe society. She was speaking at the end of her 2025 Children's Christmas Brunch for children from different orphanages, which held at the State House Conference Center, Abuja. The First Lady also encouraged Nigerians to reach out to the less privileged.
It's very sad, it's disheartening. But you can see Mr. President has done the needful. They've gone after them. This is the quickest rescue we've ever gotten in abduction in the history of this nation. So you can give Mr. President, cut him some slacks. Nigeria is a big, huge population. Over 250 million people. Close to the population of US. We are working 7 days a week in here. We want to see every child. We are going to leave this place somehow. You think I don't want a safe society? I do.
Human rights lawyer and activist Femi Falana is advocating for social security in the fight against terrorism to bring an end to unemployment and illiteracy, as anything short of this will be a total waste of time, curbing insecurity while calling for more funding for the armed forces. Mr. Falana also asked the Nigerian Bar Association to call to order state attorneys general that failed to prosecute terror suspects. He was speaking at the Human Rights Day celebration in Abuja, the nation's capital. Please watch this. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights, UDHR, adopted by the United Nations General Assembly in 1948, was the first legal document to set out the fundamental human rights to be universally protected. Its 30 articles provide the principles and building blocks of current and future human rights conventions, treaties, and other legal instruments. Those 30 articles include freedom from discrimination, right to life, freedom from slavery, a right to a fair trial, right to asylum, freedom of religion or belief, freedom of expression, freedom of assembly, a right to work, a right to education, and a right to a free and fair world. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights is the most translated document in the world, available in more than 500 languages. A milestone document in the history of human rights, drafted by representatives with different legal and cultural backgrounds from all regions of the world. The declaration was proclaimed by the United Nations General Assembly in Paris on 10th of December 1948 as a common standard of achievements for all peoples and all nations. That document, in 2025, is 77 years old. December 10th of every year has been set aside to commemorate International Human Rights Day. Different government dignitaries, lawyers, members of the ECOWAS Court of Justice marked the celebration across the nation's capital, Abuja. At the Nigerian Bar Association's celebration, the call for social security, and not physical alone, was top on the burner for discussion. They call for more equipping of the country's security operatives to tackle insecurity.
The most important aspect of security, and that is social security. And my position is that you may spend all the money you have in the world on acquiring military hardware, but if you don't address unemployment of young people, illiteracy of young people, you are simply wasting your time. Because right now, we have about 20 million out of school children and amajiris. 80% of them are from the northern part of the country. So while you are acquiring arms and ammunition, those young people are being recruited by terrorist organizations and bandits. So we must address both social security and physical security. Section 217 of the Constitution has created the armed force, and is provided there, 217 subsection 2, that the armed forces shall be equipped adequately to protect our national security, defense, repel any external aggression, and protect Nigerians.
It requires us, members of the bar, defenders of the Constitution, and custodians of justice, to speak when silence becomes the order of the day, to act when action becomes dreaded, and to stand firm when standing becomes lonely. Today, I challenge each of us to imagine a Nigeria where every child can walk freely without fear, where young men and women can stroll in the streets without fear of harassment, where every farmer can walk without looking over their shoulders, where drivers can move from north to south, east to west, without having to set aside ransom money, where dead bodies are not piled up in illegal morgue, where every citizen can sleep without trembling at the sounds of the night, where the law truly protects the weak and restrains the powerful. That Nigeria is possible.
At the ECOWAS Court of Justice, they call on member states, lawyers and citizens to work collectively to uphold the principles enshrined in regional and international human rights instruments.
It's a day where more than 70 years ago, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights was adopted. The declaration was the first global expression of the rights that everyone must enjoy, regardless of where they are born, the circumstances of their birth, their gender, race, or any other factor. Thus, on this day, we reflect on our common humanity as well as the challenges that we face in order to achieve a community where everyone would be able to enjoy the rights that God has granted them without any hindrances.
For the Executive Secretary of the National Human Rights Commission, Tony Ojukwu, the work of the Commission is now critical to all aspects of human life more than ever, as he called for the support of all in its fight to promote universal human rights.
The spirit of today's gathering echoes the timeless messages encapsulated in the promotion, protection, and enforcement of human rights for all in Nigeria. Our work is not rooted in protest, but in unity, not in anger, but with resolve to uphold human rights, not as spectators, but as active participants in shaping a Nigeria where every right is protected, every voice matters, and no one is left behind in the promotion and protection of human rights. Our celebration today is a reminder that human rights flourishes where communities embrace harmony, mutual respect, and peaceful coexistence. Moreover, the award to be given out today is a tribute to those who, through courage and consistency, have supported the cause of human rights through the work of the Commission. Their support strengthens the Commission to continue its work with the belief that the work of the Commission, the work the Commission is doing is appreciated. As Nigeria's human rights institution, we recommit ourselves to the mandate that has guided us for these 30 years to protect, promote, and enforce the rights of all persons in Nigeria.
The theme for this year is human rights, our everyday essentials. According to these activists, it is very apt, as it is a reminder that the rights of individuals are not abstract ideals or gifts by the government, but necessities for all to live a dignified existence.